We're Batman at 89. Hello and welcome to Batminute 89, the podcast where we sift through the credits to Tim Burton's 1989 movie Batman 1 minute at a time. Every episode, over and over, credits. Actually, no, this is the first episode where we're out of the credits in a bit.
Yes, well, eventually. I know all credit fans are going to be gutted, but don't worry, there are end credits coming in about 120 episodes. So
Not long to wait, yes.
Yeah.
So I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And I am the other, Niall McGowan.
Hello, Niall.
Hello, John. How are you?
I am good. I am excited for this minute. We're finally getting into it, getting stuck in. Something's going to happen.
Yes, eventually, we finally burst forward from the credits into action. So, well, I suppose, to get back into things, the first credit we have now is the for Michael Uslan and Benjamin Melniker.
Oh, yes, as we mentioned previously.
Yep, we did cover them in episode 1. So, there's not much more to say about them. We just know that Uslan went on to do some other projects that weren't as great, because he's at the moment apparently he's on Captain Marvel, which will hopefully be good. But he also did do producer work on Catwoman.
Oh,
and the Spirit.
Oh,
which,
what a shame!
Yeah, the Spirit. In case anyone, because it's been rightfully forgotten, that film, and it should be at least remembered as one of the worst things ever.
Well, I was going to watch it because remember I was like, "Oh, look at this! This looks interesting," and you were just like, "No,
it is
do
terrible.
not."
It is atrocious. So
I still haven't seen it because of your vitriol.
Oh no, I don't think it was one of those ones. I can't remember the name of the guy who stars as the Spirit in it, but I think it was supposed to be like a star-making turn for him, and I've never come across him in anything else. So I'm pretty sure like no one walked away from that one unscathed, and it was Frank Miller who it was his wrote and directed it, I think. And
yeah, I think that's probably what went wrong.
Yeah,
It was too much control.
So we'll probably be talking about Frank Miller at some point in the podcast because of his work on Batman. But he, as a writer in himself, quite contentious these days because he's kind of known as a bit more of a sort of a right wing, fascism apologizing extremist these days. But
we'd maybe best not to to go there at the moment. Well, I do have one little note about Michael Uslan and Benjamin Melniker, because afterwards, later on, they actually fell out with Warner Brothers.
Oh.
I've got the quotes here. They claim to be the victims of a sinister campaign of fraud and coercion that has cheated them out of continuing involvement in the production of Batman and its sequels. We were denied proper credits and deprived of any financial rewards for our indispensable creative contribution to the success of Batman. That's pretty bold.
Yeah, that sounds like a job for Batman to go in.
Warner Brothers offered them an out-of-court payoff, and the attorney, I've got his quote here now, he described the sum as 2 popcorns and 2 Cokes, which... That's another interesting way of putting it.
Well, the thing is, I think they do get credits in the other Batman films. It's on their IMDb. So. But I'm assuming then, in that case, that it must just be literally a name drop. Like they've not actually contributed, which could, explain potentially quite a bit of why the films go so drastically different straight after this one. So...
I like the way you don't say drastically wrong, just different.
They go on a different tangent. So,
well, we are looking forward to those movies in a way. Are we honest?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you can criticize Batman and Robin all you want, but you can talk about that film for hours because there's so much to talk about in it. But anyway, shall we press on with the next credits? Is producer Chris Kenny. Not much to talk about with him.
Meh.
Did worked on Tomb Raider, Empire of the Sun. Just
Not a bad career, not a great career. Yeah, better than I'm doing. But yeah.
And then we get the screenwriting credits for Sam Hamm.
Great name.
Yeah, it always reminds me of Bob Cobb from. So we remember that episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where like we found out Larry was obsessed with like, oh, the Cobb salad was invented by Bob Cobb. And I always remember it as just like, the Cobb salad was invented by Bob Cobb. And I'm assuming Larry has a thing for that guy because he's mentioned in Seinfeld as well. So
Oh, is he?
yeah, there's a character.
Remember.
There's a character, the maestro, that he always insists people call him maestro because he's an orchestra conductor. But his actual name's Bob Cobb. And I think
Yes.
like it must have been Larry was like he found out that fact and it was like, that is amazing.
I'm going to use that again and again.
But Sam Hamm has the same kind of like snappy Sam. Batman '89 was written by Sam Hamm, my friend. But Sam Hamm has not a great career in film after, really, because he did an episode or did episodes of Masters of Horror and worked on Monkey Bone, and apparently did like unused scripts for Watchmen and Planet of the Apes. But his major contribution that I've found is that he went in to work for DC Comics after.
Oh, okay then, yeah.
And his major contribution was he wrote a storyline called Blind Justice, which introduced the character of Henry Ducard, who Liam Neeson sort of plays.
In a way.
Yeah, in Batman Begins. Liam Neeson plays Henry Ducard for a bit. But I'm assuming people listening to this have seen Batman Begins. And it's not a spoiler for me. Henry Ducard is revealed at the end to be Ra's al Ghul.
Oh my god.
But we wouldn't have Henry Ducard at all if it wasn't for Sam Hamm. So
well, good work, Sam. And we have his various drafts, don't we, that we're going to be taking a look at various points?
Yeah. A lot of them, some of them are quite similar. Some of them are, the quote Bruce Wayne? Some of them not. But
well, some of them, we won't be referring to them straight away because a lot of the beginning, even in the first draft, is identical.
It seems to me it's like the first 25 minutes essentially it's the same film with little minor tweaks basically, and then it goes off on a tangent altogether.
Well, yeah, because in some, you've got Robin in a lot of these drafts.
Yeah, Robin, and then there's a lot of character name changes and stuff we'll get to, when the minutes approach, I guess. But because he's got in, like Rupert Thorne is there instead of Boss Grissom.
Yeah.
Like little things like that. But we'll talk about them at a future date. But then as well as Sam Hamm, we have Warren Scarron, which is that's like a sci-fi supervillain name. It's like Scarron.
Yeah, I like that.
But he's done some notable things. He also worked on the script for Beetlejuice, which is presumably why he was brought over by Tim Burton.
Oh, I can see the connection as well. Like some stuff from Beetlejuice works in Batman.
Yeah.
So,
and apparently one other thing he did that I thought was pretty interesting is apparently he was the executive director of the Texas Film Commission. And then through that, he was the driving force behind the distribution of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Ah, okay.
Which is it's an odd thing that he did that, and then he went on and he co-wrote Batman, I guess.
Did he help with the publicity campaign and things too?
I imagine he was just from what I got from the Wikipedia entry was that he was just very vocal about making sure the film got out there, because at the
Oh, right.
time it would have been controversial film. So I guess he must have been sort of banging pots, going, no, it needs to be released. It deserves to get seen by the people and stuff. So
And then you had people outside, down with this sort of thing.
careful now.
That's an obscure reference that about 4 listeners will understand, if that.
Mm. But apparently, though, it should be noted as well that although Scarrin and Sam Ham have got they've got the writing credits, there actually was apparently there were rewrites done by a few people, Jonathan Gem and Charles McEwen, during the filming, because these two guys, or at least Sam Ham, couldn't do a rewrite because of a writer's strike in 1988.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So that's just another little thing, just in case those other guys are listening and they're like, of course they wouldn't mention us, would they?
We didn't forget you guys.
Yeah, a lot of love for Jen and McEwen. So
Right, can I just say as well, we haven't talked about the actual visuals on the screen for a little while, because up until this point, not much has actually been happening. With the spinning background of stone or something. But it finally starts to reveal itself now, and you can see it is none other than the Batman logo, made of stone.
What a shock! What a twist!
I know. I never suspected that. I thought it was going to be something completely abstract, but no, it's on the nose.
Yeah, and I suppose we should mention one thing that stands out is that this bat symbol you see here, and you see it used again for the bat signal towards the end of the film, isn't the bat symbol that's on his suit throughout the film.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that till you pointed it out to me, and then I looked into it a bit more and was like, "Hang on a minute,
Yeah.
I've missed out on this all the time."
There's like a slight difference in that at the bottom they've got a 3-pronged. Well, in this they don't. They just have they've simplified it down. And the bat emblem on his suit mid film is it's 3-pronged. It's got like a little additional little points. And apparently from looking in here, because I couldn't find much information on it, but I've found one statement now that explains it. It says the bat emblem used on the suit had 3 feet points on the wings as the license for WB, that's Warner Brothers to you and me, to use the standard 2 feet point emblem had not been granted at the time of shooting. This was remedied for the sequel, Batman Returns. So I imagine it was, when they were shooting, they didn't have the right to use it, and then at one point, they did. And it was.
Hang on a minute. So they need special rights to use that exact logo?
I'm guessing maybe because it may have been a copyrighted image from the comic, which you would assume would have come over with everything else.
Yeah. But why was that not part of the deal?
I'm not sure. That's literally all the info I could get at the moment. Other information on the internet seemed to be just speculating that it's because they just did a redesign midway through, or something like that. But that seems to be that's on the Batman wiki, which I'll take as been well, I guess someone knew what they were talking about when they wrote that.
We'll go with that, yeah, because we don't know any better. I'm sure there's loads of people shouting at us right now who know a bit more. But sorry, I ain't no nerd. Well, I am. But,
I think we have to admit nerd status as soon as we start recording a podcast like this.
Yeah, I don't think you can be anything but a nerd if you're doing a minute-by-minute podcast about Batman.
But it's worth noting that I can imagine if this had been George Lucas's Batman, there would have been a re-release with those little prongs taken out. But Tim
George
Burton,
Lucas's Batman, you're exciting me with this idea. I want to see that.
I mean, I think we all would. Well, probably a lot of people would not, but
we probably wouldn't once we'd seen it. To be honest.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But you never know.
That's what maybe that's what he meant when he said he wanted to make smaller movies.
It's like instead of a $160 million film, I want to make $140 million film. But yeah, and then in front of the logo, we see once again the credits for John Peters and Peter Guber, who we touched on in a previous episode.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, and then we finally get the directed by Tim Burton.
Oh, our main man.
Yeah, Tim. A lot of love for Tim Burton here. Apparently, he didn't have a lot of love when he was making this film because he's described it as a real nightmare. But I'm sure we'll get into some more stories about that in the middle of the film. Because if we started going deep into Tim Burton now, we'd be here all day. So,
And, he seems like the kind of guy who probably finds every shoot a nightmare. I don't think he really likes people very much. He's a bit like me.
Well, maybe that's why you like him so much, John.
It must be. We're kindred spirits.
But yeah, I think he must have got you can tell within this that there is a little bit of it's not quite his exact creative vision, but then by the second one, because of the success of this, he must have had so much clout that he was able to make Batman Returns the weird film that it is. So
Beautifully weird.
oh, it's a great film. I will defend Batman Returns to the death. But
Oh, it's probably my favorite one, if I had to pick one. If you're forcing me.
But it is most notably, I'd always say it's a good Tim Burton film. It's not necessarily a great Batman film.
Yeah, I can see why. Especially
Yeah.
as someone who likes Batman as a film series primarily,
Mm.
obviously I love it, but I can see why it's not a great Batman movie. It doesn't have a lot of the
Yeah.
elements. They change so much, and Batman's barely in it.
Yeah, the thing is, there's scarcely a Batman in the film, but and yeah, it's much more focused on the villains, as is, to be fair, this film as well. So
Well, yeah, I think because I think I've said in a previous minute, he didn't dislike Batman,
yeah.
but he's obviously more drawn to the freaks who are, I mean, Batman is sometimes referred to as that, but the villains are even more so.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I think I could summarize it quite well in that a couple of years ago, I went to see Danny Elfman live. Danny Elfman doing the music, performing the music from his Tim Burton collaborations.
Oh, yeah.
And Danny, he wasn't conducting himself, but he did come out at the end to sing the Nightmare Before Christmas songs because he does the voice or he does the singing voice anyway of Jack Skellington, as I'm sure
Oh, yes, of course.
everyone knows. But yeah, and in the background during everything, they'd throw up concept art, like sketches that Tim Burton had done. And they all looked very like that, the illustrations of like the melancholy death of Oyster Boy and that kind of stuff.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, but it was incredibly noticeable that throughout the Batman suite, there was one picture he had done of Batman, and it was just a silhouette. And there must have been about 10 of the Joker, about 50 of the Penguin, and then about maybe 15 of Catwoman. And you really got this vibe that oh yeah, this was a guy who was predominantly focused on the villains. And that's it right there. When he's doing a thing of people coming out and celebrating the music of Batman in part, and all the things from his archives is oh, here's one picture I did of him, and here's 50 of the Joker. It's
Well, in a way, you could say though it's the villains who help make Batman interesting.
oh well, yeah,
Yeah.
but
Or help make Batman.
yeah, I think it's strange in that we only really got a Batman centric Batman film with Batman Begins. That was that's the only one to a
Yeah.
certain extent that really focuses on him. But I mean, even then, after that, it's in the same run. The Dark Knight is the Joker movie, and then at the end it becomes a Two-Face movie. And
Yeah.
Batman, he's there and he's stuff to do, and he's great in it and stuff. But it's not like that focused on him. And then The Dark Knight Rises too. Like that's the Bane movie, and it's more about the what him completely like annihilating Gotham to a certain extent, and the story of who we find out then to be Talia Al Ghul.
What? I never ever would have guessed. No, I didn't see that coming months before or anything like that.
But but then you do get a great focus on Bruce Wayne's story in that as well. But it's only really Begins that's like, yep, this is about him the whole time, and
Yeah.
the Scarecrow is there and Ra's al Ghul is there, but they are only obstacles in the way of Batman's goals, basically. So
Well, with a lot of movies, especially superhero movies, that is a problem with the sequels in particular.
yeah,
That they feel, well, we've done that. So what do we do for the sequel? Oh, we'll focus on the villains. It's like it's the obvious leap to make, isn't it?
yeah. But I suppose we
But
got
no,
off.
they all do it. They just repeat themselves.
Yeah. Well, because argue that the Marvel films are fairly focused on like a story, like a continued story arc of the hero. Because I guess like the events of Captain America: Civil War are a natural continuation of like Tony Stark's story from
Oh
Age
yeah.
of Ultron, and then like the guilt he feels and all that
Oh,
kind of
you,
stuff.
you're picking the best of the best there, though.
But I guess we should probably move on though, because we're
Yes.
we've gone off on a proper little tangent here.
The music here builds and builds and builds, very dramatic,
hmm
and then the screen goes black, and then we finally see our first shot of the city, Gotham City.
We're out of the credits.
Finally, we're free. We're let loose on the city.
And we get a lovely matte painting of Gotham City from afar.
Yeah, it looks to me, an Englishman who hasn't been to America. I always thought, oh, this looks like how I picture New York. And then when
Yeah.
I looked into it, that's exactly what they were going for.
Yep. Apparently, it's near enough official now in the comics and stuff that Gotham is located in New Jersey.
Ah.
So yeah, next to New York, basically.
I know there are different Gothams inspired by different cities, though, aren't they? Like in other movies and things like that. But for this one, yeah, they've gone with the New York vibe specifically.
Well, I think because I think Chris Nolan was quite he's quite shameless in the fact that his Gotham City is it's Chicago, like that's all
Yeah.
it is. Like it's
And it looks completely different between two movies.
yeah. I think the first everything's constantly dark and bathed in orange light, and it's raining all the time. And then the next film, it's Chicago. It just looks like that. So
What are you talking about? It always looked like that, honestly. Waving his Jedi hand.
But and I suppose brief history of Gotham City was first named in Batman #4. Created was the concept of it as being Gotham City was created by Bill Finger, of course.
Yes, mentioned him already.
Yeah, and apparently he went through a couple of different names. They was considering Civic City, Capital City, which
No.
to imagine though would have been great. They could have got in Tony Bennett to do the music. And let's be like the intro will be like, there's a swinging town I know called Capital City.
Hey, I'd take that. I love Prince, but I'd take that. That sounds great.
And then Coast City was another one.
No.
And apparently then he flipped through the phone book and landed on Gotham Jewelers. And that was, I suppose then if you're going for like a dark and brooding dark and brooding vigilante, who is in himself quite gothic. Gotham, I guess, makes sense.
Well, that's why I've never really liked the name, I'll be honest, because it's too obvious. It's trying to make you instantly go, oh, it must be a dark and brooding city of mystery and evil.
I don't know.
Yep.
I like it myself, but apparently, as you were saying, because it's very clearly sort of based on New York, and apparently Gotham is, or at least was at some point, like a nickname for New York. Uh,
Aha, there you go.
and according to my research, John, uh,
You crunch the numbers.
yep, apparently Washington Irving referred to New York as Gotham, but took it from the village of Gotham in Nottinghamshire, in
Okay.
in England, and apparently in Old English, it translates to homestead where goats are kept. So
That explains all the goats then that we're seeing in this scene.
oh yeah,
All over the place.
but I mean that kind of works as well, tangentially, because I guess you get your goats. You think goats, you got the devil, so it's a city where devils are kept.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
not
then people
only
think Batman is a devil
yeah. So it's yes,
sometimes.
and not just in terms of Batman. It's like it's seen by the criminals as a sort of demonic monster out to get them. But then you have the actual criminals of Gotham who are also devils, and then just the general people. Because as we see in this minute, the people of Gotham just seem to be kind of dicks, basically.
Well, to be fair to them, as you can see, as the minute advances, the place looks pretty bleak. You can hear a lot of sirens and traffic. It's very hectic.
Yeah.
There's people everywhere and just noise, and it looks kind of dirty.
Yeah, I think here now we get seeing a lot of the sort of nightmarish hellscape that Anton First and the crew were attempting to do. Because I think his quote on it was that he wanted it to look like hell sprang up from the sidewalks and just kept growing. So and they do specify, like in production diaries and people who worked on it, was it was designed to look like like the zoning commission of New York went wrong. So they were just building buildings on top of buildings, and everything's just sort of a hodgepodge of like this nightmarish sort of twisted steel towering up into the sky. And
Well, they've done well to capture that. It looks the part.
yeah, apparently they made the effort to, because I think in actual city planning, they try to keep design them in a way so light gets in through like skyscrapers. But
Yeah.
they did it here, so they actually angled over the city so no light could get in, just to make it even more oppressive.
Capturing the mood very well. And the top half of the screen here, and you can see the buildings. That looks beautiful. Is it a painting or models? I couldn't quite find out all the info here.
I'm not too sure, but I know they did have like a massive practical set built.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because apparently, I think they said they took over 18 stages in Pine Woods.
18.
Yeah, 18 stages
Jesus.
to pull this off, and apparently, then handily enough, apparently they kept up quite a bit of it for a few years, because there's a guy online who went in and in an incredibly handy thing for us, has specified the exact buildings you see in this opening shot,
Oh
because
yeah.
because he was there. Like, he was like, oh, this is that and that. So after the first shot of the matte painting of Gotham from afar, when we go in, apparently we get to see the Gotham Diner building, the statue area, the Flugelheim Museum, which plays a big old part later in the film.
And it has a great name.
Yep. And Arnie's bar building, and then the Monarch Theater, which is a big old part of Batman mythology, and can be seen in this film several times. So
Well, yeah, that's an important building. Even in the video games, it still comes back to there.
yeah. Oh yeah, the Monarch Theater is like it's a big old kettle of fish. We'll get into that.
Oh yeah, we better save some of that, or we'll have nothing to talk about.
Yeah. But
So the next thing we see is a shot of the park, and it's this panning across the park there. You can still hear police sirens, and there's a lot of people who look like they might be homeless, and they're picking through trash cans. It doesn't look like a nice place. You don't really want to be here.
Yeah, it has that vibe of like it just has too many people. Like it, and they had that kind of thing of like a place with too many people. They don't want you there. They've got too many people, so
Yeah,
that's why they're so antagonistic towards each other. As we'll see,
we got
in a
enough
minute.
of your sorts.
Yeah, but we as we go through the park, uh, we see a statue which I'm assuming is supposed to be Gotham founder John T. Gotham, but they don't really focus on it, or it's
No,
just
you
sort
don't
of
see a plaque or anything.
no, it just seems to be sort of brushing past. But apparently there was a scene that was like it must have been so far into production before they cut it, where there was going to be a statue unveiling, and the Joker had taken over it and had erected a statue of himself.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. I've seen this in the materials online.
yeah, because you can actually they actually made the statue. So like they must have been so far deep in that like they're like, oh, we've actually built this thing. And then for whatever reason that scene was cut. But I'm assuming within that they probably would have mentioned, oh, John T. Gotham, and this is the statue, and we're replacing the other statue that we have of him.
Yeah. It must be for that. Oh, I wonder if anyone's got that statue or if they just destroyed it.
See, all those things in any set, I'm like, who took these things? Like, I want to know, because I would want to steal everything.
Oh, I'd have a truck down there every day. I'd be
Yo.
loading things in the back of that thing.
But like you even think like Jack Nicholson would be like, I want that. Oh, I think there's a huge statue of me. Of course I want it.
I'm taking it. Just say it's mine.
Oh my god, people! Jack Nicholson just broke into the studio.
Yes. He's unfortunately he's left.
But and then as we go past here, we get our first blast of his royal badness. We get a little tease of a Prince song
Oh yeah.
as playing from a hi-fi system. Someone's trekking about with.
One of my favorite tracks.
Oh yeah, the what's it just called? The Future.
Yes. It's the opening track,
Yeah, but
which makes sense since it's the
the
first
opening.
song in the.
What are the odds? But yeah, like, for years too, because it was a long gap between me seeing the film and then listening to the Prince soundtrack. So I just always knew this song as this. That's all you hear.
So when he did it live, you just imagine that's what you would do, and then go into the next tune. Like, thank you, everybody.
It's just like it's like play the future, like, like
Woo!
yeah. But
Again.
yeah, and I suppose if you want to do any analysis of the song, because it ties into now, like the lyric we're hearing there is it's not just it's I've seen the future as it will be, which is indicating. So is this set in the future, or is this like a warning of the way New York or big cities in America could be going, like if they continue down like a spiral of crime and corruption?
Oh yeah, I always took it as that. But then in the context of the movie, the way that Gotham is going,
Yeah,
as a parallel to the real world.
and it's kind of I suppose that when we move on after that, because we get this idea of like, oh, it's the future, but and then we see like, well, it's at least present day because we see a hi-fi, like we see a stereo system.
You mean it's the 80s, basically?
It's supposed to be at least the 80s, but then once we see some of the people, they're dressed in a very sort of old-timey film noir kind of thing. They've got like the fedora hats, and the ladies are wearing like the fur with the little sort of berets to the side, and we get seeing a family emerging from the Monarch Theater. So it's a man, as I say, like, yeah, probably overcoat and suit and tie and fedora hat. So it makes him look like it's a very 1940s kind of vibe to it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And he looks quite smart and wealthy.
Mm. And yeah, the little kid in a bow tie and stuff like that.
Highly unusual.
It's most unorthodox. Uh, but and then yeah, they hail for a taxi.
Attempt to.
Yeah, it's managed to get one down, and then it's swiped out from underneath them by some other guy. So
Yeah, he's just he's a loser. This guy, he's failed in front of his family. He's failed as a man, as a husband, as a father. He just cannot get them a cab, which is
no,
just absurd.
no. And then it's as if presumably it's crossing over film universes. Because I'm assuming this is John Candy's character from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, who just swipes his taxi in the same manner he did to Steve Martin, who, to be fair, was dressed in the same kind of gear in that film as well. He was in the suit and he had the hat.
Oh, someone needs to cut the two movies together. Get to work on that internet. Do it.
But
Do it.
Do it. But we know who these people are. We know who the actor is playing them anyway.
Oh, especially the dad. I'm sure you all know, but if you don't, you're going to be excited.
Yeah, but I think that's something we should leave for another day, perhaps in the next minute.
I mean, it's a crazy idea, Niall, but it just might work.
So yes, this minute 3 ends with this mysterious man shouting the word "taxi."
Will he get one? Who knows?
I say, well, people will be waiting with bated breath, presumably.
I know I would be. I always get agitated if I, know people need to get a taxi and I can't see them getting one. And I think, he's never going to get home or wherever he's going. All right, so that just about covers everything for the minute 3 of Batman. So make sure to check us out online on our different social media accounts. We've got Facebook, which is BatMinute89, obviously, if you search for that. Or you can join the BatMinute 89 Listeners Society and chat to us there. We've got Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr, and they're all at BatMinute 89 as well. All BatMinute 89, all the time. Every minute of your life. So yes, that's it. Tune in again next week where we will have minute 4 of Batman.
What's going to happen, John?
Oh, I'm excited myself because there's things going on.
Things are doings are transpiring. Finally, we're out of the credits. We're out of the credits, folks.
Woo! Join us on Monday.
Next time, Cab Chaos, Map Madness. Will this fearful family find favor down the dark, seedy, completely untrustworthy alleys of Gotham? Well, what do you think? Big things are afoot, and the dark doesn't get any lighter. Join us next time. Same Bat Pod.
Different Bat Minute.